If you have already watched Fathers and Daughters, you know exactly why this movie sticks to your ribs. It is one of those rare dramas that does not just tell you a story. It makes you feel like you lived inside it for 2 hours. And the reason it hits so hard is simple. It is built around the most emotionally loaded relationship there is. A father trying to hold himself together, a daughter trying to grow up without losing herself, and a bond that refuses to quit even when life keeps throwing punches. This movie is especially satisfying for people who have already seen it because it validates what you felt while watching. The ache, the warmth, the little flashes of joy that show up in the middle of pain. It is not trying to be flashy or clever for the sake of it. It is trying to be honest. And when a film is this emotionally honest, it becomes a mirror. You watch it and you start thinking about your own memories, your own family, your own "I did not realize that moment mattered until years later" kind of moments. One of the biggest strengths is the two timeline structure. You are watching Jake and young Katie in the past, and then adult Katie trying to navigate the present. And it is not a gimmick, it is the whole point. The past is not just backstory, it is the emotional blueprint for who she becomes. You see the warmth, the humor, the little rituals, the protective routines, and the way Jake tries to make the world feel safe for her through stories, imagination, and sheer effort. Then you see her later carrying all of that, even when she pretends she is fine. That is the magic of this story. It understands that childhood is not something you leave behind. It is something you drag with you quietly into every relationship you ever have. Let's talk about Jake as a character, because this script makes him feel painfully human in the best way. He is talented, he is flawed, he is trying, and he is fighting his own mind while still making space for his daughter. That is not easy to write without turning it into melodrama. But here it stays grounded because Jake is not presented as a superhero dad. He is a dad who shows up anyway, even when he is messy, even when he is scared, even when he is broke, even when the world is looking at him like he is a risk. The story keeps coming back to the same core truth. This man loves his daughter with everything he has, not in a loud, performative way, in the everyday way, the way that matters. If you watch this movie and felt that lump in the throat reaction, it is because it nails the small moments. The scenes that linger are not always the dramatic explosions. It is Jake trying to make ordinary days feel special. It is him turning a routine into a ritual. It is the way a child can feel safe because one person is trying hard enough to build that safety with their hands. The movie understands that kids do not need perfection. They need presence. They need consistency. They need to feel chosen. Fathers and Daughters puts that truth on screen in a way that feels earned. And Katie's arc is honestly beautiful, especially as an adult. Adult Katie is complicated in a way that feels real. She is smart, driven, and she chooses work that helps people. That alone tells you the impact her father had on her. She becomes someone who wants to protect others because she knows what it feels like to be the kid who needed protecting. Her professional life is not just a job. It is a reflection of her internal world. It is her trying to turn pain into purpose and love into something useful. The script makes that connection feel natural rather than forced, and it is one of the most quietly powerful layers of the story. Her scenes with the child she is trying to help are especially strong. They are not flashy. They are intimate. They are about patience, trust, and connection. Watching Katie fight to give another kid a chance at safety while she is still learning how to feel safe herself is peak emotional storytelling. It is also one of the reasons this film lands with viewers who have lived through complicated family dynamics. It does not simplify the healing process. It shows that healing is often relational. It is built in moments where you choose empathy even when your own heart is bruised. Now, if you are someone who already loves this movie, I know you probably have a few moments that live rent-free in your head, like the way the story shows fatherhood as both tenderness and responsibility, the way Jake protects Katie without pretending the world is harmless, the way he tries to teach her strength without taking away her softness, and the way the film uses humor in the middle of heavy scenes not to undercut the emotion but to make it believable. Because that is how life actually is. You can be drowning and still crack a joke. Sometimes the joke is the life raft. Sometimes laughter is the only proof you are still here. Another reason this film connects is how it handles grief and trauma. It does not treat pain as a single event, it treats it as a ripple effect. You see how one tragedy can echo across years, across relationships, across the way someone flinches at love even when they want it. The adult romance thread works best when you view it through that lens. Katie is not hard to love. She is learning how to believe love can stay. That is a very specific kind of heartbreak, and the script captures it with empathy instead of judgment. It is validating for anyone who has ever wanted connection but also feared it. The film also does an excellent job showing how the outside world judges families. You get community pressure, expectations, and the messy ways adults make decisions for the child, while the child is the one who actually has to live with it. There is a whole layer here about custody, guardianship, money, stability, and what people think qualifies someone to be a parent. The story uses those conflicts to show how easy it is for a family to be evaluated from the outside while missing what matters most on the inside. It is a reminder that love is not always neat, but it is still real. And I love the writing meta layer. Jake is not just a dad, he is a writer, and the story uses that to show how art can be a bridge between people. He turns their life into something meaningful, something that outlives him, something Katie can carry. That is why the book within the story element works. It is not a cute detail. It is Jake's love letter. It is him saying, I might not be here forever, but I am leaving you something you can hold. If you have ever used music, movies, photos, or words to stay close to someone you miss, this part of the film hits with extra force. For viewers who have already watched it, the rewatch value is real because you notice how the film plants emotional seeds early. You notice how certain behaviors in adult Katie trace back to specific moments in the past. You notice how the film is constantly showing you that love shapes people even when life interrupts the story. It is one of those movies that feels more meaningful the second time because you are not just following the plot anymore. You are reading the emotional map. Bottom line, Fathers and Daughters is the kind of film you recommend to someone and warn them in the same sentence. Not because it is bad, but because it is going to hit them. It is sincere, emotionally rich, and it treats the father-daughter bond with real weight. So yeah, for me, this lands around an 8.5 out of 10, and it is absolutely a must-watch if you have ever loved someone hard and carried it with you.